Hey you guys, it's Amy from A-Rad Spatula. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm excited that you're here. Today I'm going to show you the second method for making pie dough. Last week I showed you a method that uses no special equipment. This week we're going to use a food processor. Both methods are very easy, but this one is even faster. So let's get started and let me show you how. Okay, so the cool thing about the food processor is it does all the work for you. So we're going to add in our wheat flour, our all-purpose flour, our salt, and then we're going to give this a really quick pulse. That's going to mix it in. Now the thing to remember about pie dough is that we want the butter to stay cold until it hits the oven. This is very important. This is what will give you your flaky little pockets that you find in your crust. So this butter has been refrigerated. If you watched my other method for making pie dough, you saw that it was frozen because we grated it. When we're using the food processor, we just chop it up into pieces. These are about 1/2 inch or 1 inch pieces. You don't have to be super particular because the food processor, again, is going to do all the work. So go ahead and add it in, and then we're going to put the top on it. And this gets pulsed just probably 3 to 5 times. It'll break up the butter, but not too much because we still have to add in the ice water, and that's going to break up the butter even more. You'll see when I take the top off that the butter is broken up into kind of large pea-sized pieces, and that's what you're looking for. Now when it comes to the cold water, which I'm going to add in just a second, I fill up a mason jar with ice, add in the water, and then I kind of strain out the ice, and that's what I use for my ice water when I put this in. You want it very chilled, very cold. That'll help your butter to stay cold and the dough to stay cold. Now once you add the water, you don't want to mix this too much. You just kind of want to mix it until it's incorporated. You'll see that there's a little bit of flour left on the top, and that's exactly what I'm looking for, because what I'll do is I'm going to pull it out and knead it for just a second. Now one way to tell if it's mixed in is I just kind of grab a handful of it, squeeze it together. If it holds, kind of like that, that's exactly what you're looking for. And now what I'm going to do is I turn it out onto a surface, and I'm going to knead it gently. You don't want to have a lot of contact with your hand and the dough, of course, because our body temperature is pretty high compared to how cold we want the dough to be. So I just give it a few kneads to mix in the last of that flour, or most of that flour. If there's a little left over, it's not that big of a deal. And then you're going to split the dough in half, and each half is going to be wrapped up in saran wrap. Now remember that the dough has to be chilled for 1 hour to 2 hours before you work with it. This will chill the dough, but also give the gluten a chance to rest. And then, of course, it can hold in the fridge for up to at least 5 to 7 days. If you freeze it, then it can be held up to 3 months in the freezer. And that's it. It's done in under 5 minutes. It's so easy to do. When you're ready to use it, just go ahead and put it in the fridge the night before, let it thaw out, and then you might even need to leave it on the countertop for 45 minutes just to soften it so it doesn't crack too much, but as you roll it out. But that's it. I would love to hear all about your baking adventures if you want to leave them in the comments below.